And then I put this.
Okay, so this is my rundown for the upcoming months, plus what has happened in the previous month. So let's go to the next one here.
Let's see.
Okay, so this is the month of no, a month from starting now to our next meeting in June. All the events I have colored in yellow are the ones that are visible from Southern California here. First one is on May the 10th, which is tomorrow. In fact, it'll be tonight after midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. We'll have an apples between the moon and Spica or Spica, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Does anybody know where Naples is?
No.
Okay, Naples is a fancy term for near miss.
Yeah.
So you have two celestial bodies that appear to approach each other and come very close to each other, sort of like a conjunction, but usually you can find Naples of, with the clearest or the nearest separation of being about 1 degree apart. So tonight, when you go out after the meeting, you look over in the southwest and an altitude about 36 degrees, and you might be able to see the moon getting close to Spica. May the 12th, which is Sunday, I think. Yeah, well, I'm sorry, it is Monday. We'll have the full moon, so that's not a good night to go out and look at deep space objects or anything other than planets. But that can be a fun thing to do if you're into the moon. Later on this month, and I think it's right around about the 13th or so, you can go out and look at the moon and look. It'll be when the moon is half full, it'll be the first quarter. And if you look in a telescope along the terminator, you might be able to see what's called the lunar X. It's the conjunction of 3 different craters near the middle of the moon. And if you look in there, you might be able to see an X, which actually is nothing more than sunlight hitting the tops of those 3 craters, and they form an X. Unfortunately, that's going to happen right before sunset. So you have to get your telescope out before it's dark, but that's a challenge. You might want to look that up on the internet. We got another apples that's coming up on May the 13th, which is Tuesday. That's between the moon and Antares. Separation will be about 1 degree. That'll be in the southeast, very near the horizon. It'll be when the moon is a waning gibbous, just about full, 97.5% full. May the 22nd, we got another close approach. This is between the moon and Saturn. Separation there will be about 2 degrees. So I'm not calling it an apples, it's just a close approach. That'll be in the east, very close to the horizon. That'll be a waning crescent moon. And then, let's see, May the 27th, which is a Wednesday, we got a conjunction of the moon and Jupiter. Separation there will be about 5 degrees in the west-northwest. Again, near the horizon, only about 5 degrees above the horizon. And that'll be a very thin crescent moon. So it'll be kind of an interesting thing to see if you can see the crescent moon before it sets, and see if you can see how close it is with Jupiter on that night, 8:45 p.m. June the 1st of June, we got 2 things that are going on. Well, actually, there's one event, but part of this, the most interesting part, you can't see. But about 12 midnight, 12:01 in the morning on June the 1st, you'll see the moon and Mars in the west-northwest, close to the horizon again. And they'll be separated by about 1.4 degrees. They are actually closer after they set That's why I show that you can't see them. Very well, it's not observable, but you can still see a close encounter on that day. 4 o'clock in the morning, if you're a late person or a very early riser, on June the 10th, which is a Tuesday, we got another apple. So this is an apples month. We got moon and cherries again that are going to be close together, about separated by about 1 degree in the southwest at 7 degrees altitude. Be a waxing gibbous, basically a full moon. Then we got another full moon on June 11th. I'll remind you again that coming up on May the 14th, that'll be the 90th anniversary of the second best place in Southern California to be, Griffith Observatory. Of course, the very first and best place to be is the PVAA. Okay, don't forget that. Okay, Gary. Okay, there's so many launches coming up. I've just got a handful here just to show you some of the things that are coming up. We got something that's called the Sierra Space Dream Chaser demo. It's a winged type spacecraft that can land back on Earth, launched by a Vulcan Centaur from Cape Canaveral Space Launch Center 41. That's a demo flight to the ISS. Eventually, that Space Dream Chaser, I think, is planned to be a transportation vehicle for the astronauts going up to space stations. I don't know how much longer the International Space Station might last, but whatever replaces it, the Dream Chaser may be the vehicle of choice for those astronauts. Not any sooner than, not earlier than, NET, not earlier than May the 29th, we got an Axiom 4 mission. That's a manned mission to the space station, launched by a Falcon 9 from Kennedy Space Center. That is a private venture going from Kennedy to the ISS. Then sometime later on this month, they have planned a Long March 3B launch vehicle from Zicheng, China, of the Tianwen-2 spacecraft, which is an interesting mission because what this mission is all about is an asteroid sample return from a quasi-moon called 469219 Camel Oahu. And this asteroid is a quasi-moon of the Earth. It's in the same orbit as the Earth. And what this spacecraft is going to do, hopefully, is be able to get a probe to land on the moon and bring back samples to the Earth. And then after that, it will go to a comet 311P Pan-STARRS. So it's got 2 missions in one, basically. So that'll be an interesting flight. Whether it turns out to be a launch in May or not, we don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And then the final one I have on here is a SpaceX Starship Flight 9 test. This will be the 9th flight test of the SpaceX Starship. And hopefully that will take place very soon from Boca Chica in Texas. Okay, and then here's space events that have happened. I won't hit each one of these, but I have some of the interesting ones highlighted in blue. The first one here is the NS-31 flight of the 6 women astronauts that were launched and recovered back on April 14th. They went to an altitude of 106 kilometers, which qualifies them to have astronaut wings because they have exceeded the Kármán line, which is at 100 kilometers. That flight took a total of 10 minutes and 21 seconds, and then you had 4 minutes of weightlessness. Then we have on April the 20th, the Soyuz MS-26 launch, which is a crewed mission. I should say manned mission because crewed sounds like CRUDE, so I prefer man. But that goes to that was a mission that took astronauts from the International Space Station and landed in Kazakhstan. And that was back on April the 20th, which happens to have been Easter Sunday. I got a picture on that, and I think you'll get a chuckle out of what that picture shows. Another thing that happened on Easter Sunday was the Lucy spacecraft successfully flew past the Donald Johanson asteroid. And that was planned. I think that the spacecraft was actually launched a couple years ago, but has gotten to Donald Johanson. It's eventually going to other asteroids in the asteroid belt. April the 23rd was the 35th anniversary of the launch of the Hubble Space Telescope, which is a very interesting story in itself. April the 24th, we had the Zhengzhou 20, which was successfully launched on a Long March launch vehicle from Jiuquan to the Tiangong space station. That's the Chinese space station. And then, let's see, go down to Zhengzhou 19. Zhengzhou 19 was the crew that Zhengzhou 20 crew replaced. So they got kicked off their space station and they made a successful return to the Dongfeng landing site in Inner Mongolia. And then one thing that's coming up here that I'll point out is another lunar mission. This Akuto R mission was launched, I think, about 2 months ago, and it's finally going to land on the moon in Mare Frigoris, which is at the very northern part of the moon. It's got a lander, which is called Resilience, and it's got a rover that's called Tenacious, and this is a private venture. Well, I'm sorry, not a private venture, but it's a Japanese venture with, I think, European Space Agency, which will happen on June the 6th. And I think this mission will tie into my presentation later on tonight. Just remember low energy trajectories. This is what this lander is following right now. Okay, Gary. Now this is a picture of the NS-31 crew. NS means New Shepard. The New Shepard is the launch vehicle is shown right behind them. The names of the women are shown down below. And this is their crew patch over on the right. And this is a picture showing the launch of the NS-31. That was April 14th. And
That's what they look like.
yeah, well, see, I should show a before and after picture, right? This is what happened afterwards. No, no, this is the Soyuz MS-26 crew. This is the crew that went up to the space station, and there were 2 Russians, and there was 1 NASA astronaut, Don Pettit. And that was a very interesting crew, to say the least. Let's go to the next chart. I'll show you a little bit about that. This is a landing back at Kazakhstan on April the 20th, which also happened on Easter Sunday. Now keep that in mind. Look at the next picture. It's a tradition of the cosmonauts to request special food on their return to Earth. That means Easter Sunday. Guess what Alexei Ovchinin chose as his special dinner? An Easter egg. And he's showing it, he's shown with it on the right-hand picture here. Now, what's interesting too is what is shown on the left-hand side. Don Pettit, the NASA astronaut who was on the return back to Earth, celebrated his 70th birthday by landing back on Earth. Now, doesn't it look like he's ready for another flight? I mean, here he is, 70 years old. I'm thinking, well, I'll bet you he wants to go up again. I don't know. But anyway, he's the oldest NASA active astronaut so far right now. Let's see what I have here real quick. He's accumulated 590 days in space, more than any other American man. There were 2 American women that have broken that record, but he's, I think, now third in line. Okay. Now we've gone from astronauts to cosmonauts, and now we have taikonauts. Taikonauts are Chinese astronauts, and this is the crew of the Shenzhou 20 crew, which replaced the Shenzhou 19 crew. And they're shown here. I won't try to pronounce their names, but they're shown them here on the bottom. The mission patch is over on the right-hand side. And this is the launch of the Long March 3B from Yukon. Beautiful rocket. This is the Shenzhou 19 crew that was replaced by the previous crew that I showed you. Their mission patch is over here on the right-hand side. And this is both crews together on the Tiangong space station of the Chinese. And it looks like they're all enjoying their time in weightlessness. Okay, and this is the return of the Shenzhou 19 crew. This is the one woman that was on board the flight being carried off. And this is Donald Johanson asteroid. The Lucy spacecraft took several thousand pictures of its encounter with this asteroid. And what they've done is they put together a movie of it based on those pictures, and this is what it looks like. The pictures were taken from a distance of about 683 miles. The asteroid itself is 8 kilometers long by 3.5 kilometers wide at its largest point. What's interesting about this is it looks like Johansen here is a very bright asteroid. It's not the dark asteroid that you might expect to see. So this is a bright object. Okay, Carol. Now, talking about objects in space, this is an interesting picture. This is a deep field picture taken by the James Webb Space Telescope in conjunction with the Hubble Space Telescope. This is basically a viewing deep space in infrared. I'm not too sure if there's any visible light that that's shown in here from Hubble. I'm not just too sure which telescope contributed what wavelengths, but I thought that this was particularly a nice picture. You look in the center here, and you can see what look like galaxies that are glowing in white gold. And what you know, if you look at those pictures or those objects out there, that is a galaxy group, and that those galaxies are believed to have formed back when the universe was 6.5 billion years old. But it gives you an idea a little bit about how many objects there are in the universe, because this picture here covers only a little bit of the sky. In fact, your little pinky can cover that area that's covered in this picture very easily. Okay. Now, this is something that Tim Tim Thompson, I think, knows a little bit about. This is the Cosmos 482 reentry. We were remarking at the dinner tonight that it's good that we're here in the hallway here underground, because this spacecraft, the Cosmos 482, even though it was launched from Earth back in March of 1972, 53 years ago, is coming back in an uncontrolled reentry tonight. And so now, if you're interested in saving your lives, I do have a used umbrella that you can use for things like meteor showers and falling objects. So if you want to get one, just see me after the dinner or after the meeting tonight. Just a little bit of information about it. This object is a Russian spacecraft. It was originally intended to land on Venus. It was marooned in Earth orbit when its upper stage failed to ignite right. And it's been in low Earth orbit at about, it goes from, it's very elongated orbit, 9,800 kilometers by 210 kilometers with a 52-degree inclination. So the good news is that if you don't live between 52 degrees north and 52 degrees south latitude, you're okay. Unfortunately, we don't live in that area. So we do live in that area. So you just got to be a little bit careful tonight when you're going home. You don't want to get hit by an object like this. So, and the impact speed, by the way, is estimated to be about 150 miles an hour. So just be careful. Okay. And this is a picture of the spacecraft. This is the line planning module that's stranded and is coming into the Earth's atmosphere, as shown on the right-hand side. So if you see anything like this tonight at night, go to the nearest basement that you can find. Okay. Okay. And this is the cartoons for today.